Welcome everybody. Welcome to the webinar where we are introducing you to the Bachelor's in Science program at the Faculty of Science at the Faculty of Helsinki. And here with me today, I have a lovely panel of two students in the program, and they both come from a slightly different background. And this is also what makes it very interesting to hear their stories. And also together with me, I have a few colleagues making sure that the chat is working, and also our admission advisors are helping out you in the Q&A section if you want to send us questions regarding either the student life or application process in such. And just to make sure that the application process is more clear to you, we have a program at hand which has two different application processes depending on your background. And I'm not going to go into more detail with this. We have our specialists, our admission advisors for you in the Q&A, answering all these questions for you, and our lovely students are here to share their experiences. Ja ehkä suomeksi vielä. Tämä webinaari pidetään täysin englanniksi, koska koulutusohjelma on myös englanninkielinen, joten jos olet hakemassa tähän ohjelmaan, pidä huolta, että tiedät kumpi hakuprosessi on sinulle relevantti, ja lisätietoa löydät nettisivuiltamme, ja totta kai meidän hakuneuvojamme auttavat sinua tässä webinaarissa myös Q&A-osiossa. But off we go. Now let's get to our students. The first question I would like to answer, we're going to talk a little bit about student experiences here for the first 15 minutes, and the latter part of the webinar, the 15 minutes afterwards, is reserved to answering your questions. Let's see how we get on with the flow. But now I'm excited to hear more about the students. So what is your name and your orientation or the study track of your program, if you have already chosen one?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Amanda. And yeah, I study at the Bachelor's program in Science, and I have chosen chemistry as my study track.
Hello everyone, my name is Marcelo. I'm a first-year student in the Bachelor's program in Science. I am at the moment still slightly torn between the physics and the mathematics study tracks, though I am more inclined towards the latter at the moment, so I think mathematics.
Thank you so much. And let's dig a little deeper into your choices in life, so to speak. So what made you choose this program in particular? Amanda, would you go first?
Yeah, sure. So when I was about to graduate from Lukio, which is like upper secondary school or high school in Finland, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to study. And I just knew I wanted to study some sciences because I have always enjoyed studying chemistry and biology, physics, and all the natural sciences. And since I didn't know exactly what I wanted to study, so when I found this program, I thought it would be like super to first get to try a little bit about studying all the different natural sciences at university level. And after that, make my choice that what I exactly want to study. So the layout of the program was perfect for me. And also it was a very big benefit for me that the program was in English. I've done all my schools in Swedish, but I thought that it would be very beneficial already at the bachelor's level to study in English, because either way, the master's programs and the doctoral programs are mostly taught in English. So that was like the two main things that why I chose this program.
Thank you.
Yes, so last year I was finishing my high school studies. I studied in the International Baccalaureate, so in the IB, and I had been moving around a bit before that, and I always felt like perhaps due to that as well, I always valued a lot the international experience. So I was, when it came to considering universities, I was very open to studying abroad, and I thought that an international education would be something that to me would be very, very valuable. And I guess I came across Finland for a few reasons, specifically as well. Finland has a very strong reputation in terms of education, and it just seemed like a very student-friendly country, and overall a nice place to be. But the nail in the coffin, or really what got me here to this program specifically, was um, one particular thing about the program, which is that it allowed me to combine mathematics and physics according to my own interests into my studies. So something that I was looking for, that I had been looking for, was a program that could provide me with the rigorous mathematical foundation that I was seeking, but also would allow me to complete my studies in physics, and that's what I found here in our program.
That's lovely to hear. It's already pretty obvious that you're both quite excited about the program, and it does make me, and I'm sure everybody else appreciate the program and your enthusiasm as well. Very short comments on what has been the best about your program so far.
For me, especially like the atmosphere and meeting new people, and especially, as Marcelo already said, the international atmosphere and meeting new people and just active student life, being part of a student organization, that has been really fun. And also regarding the studies, they have been really interesting, and I've been surprised of how much you can choose your courses that you really are interested in and build up your own degree according to your interests. So those two things have been the best.
I can definitely second all of that. I think that specifically for me, I found that the flexibility in course choice and the the different course attainment methods and different study pace. So you can really, it is quite flexible how you can go about deciding what to study and how to study it. And that's something that I think I've really appreciated. And I'm always stimulated and excited and studying something that I really enjoy. So that's what I think is the best.
Wonderful. I think it goes both with the in the context of a Finnish high school, or even globally, that a Finnish higher education system is pretty flexible. So it can be also a surprise. And of course, with the academic freedom, you get the responsibility as well. So they do go hand in hand. Thank you very much for your answers there. Can you name a favorite course that you have had? Maybe it's been memorable because of a big challenge that you overcame, or maybe it's just because it's been solely fun, or whatever reason. So can you name one particular course that you've been enjoying so far?
It was a hard choice for me, but if I have to choose, I would choose Organic Chemistry 1 lab course. So it was like lab works. So we got to work independently in the lab. So we did different synthesis, and the best lab work was definitely a qualitative analysis of. So we got like a mixture of 3 different compounds. We didn't get to know what was in that mixture, and our job was to figure it out, so purify and analyze the compounds. So that was the best part for me.
Yeah. So for me, I've been thinking about this for some time, and I guess I have 2 favorite ones, if that's okay. I really found 2 courses that I'm actually taking right now. The Introduction to Quantum Physics and the Introduction to Vector Analysis courses. So one from physics and one from mathematics. and I just really find the subject matter of both to be extremely interesting, and it's quite exciting to be studying these things. But I've also found the course conduct, so the way the teaching and assessment methods to be quite interesting and to work quite well for me. So especially at the moment, we have in both courses a combination of homework for the assignments, and then a group work for as a means of supporting the learning experience. And I found that to be done quite well, and it has been quite fun.
Wonderful. Again, thank you very much for your answers. I'm tempted to comment that thank you, Marcelo, for pointing out that if you have two favorites, it's also okay to name them, because you know, it goes with science as well. It's not really black and white, and this is why it's also challenging for us. It's we just need to be patient and look into different perspectives and alternatives. So wonderful. Let's continue. What kinds of future career plans have you had so far, or how does it look for you at the moment? I know that you might not be, you're still in the bachelor phase, but still, what kinds of future prospects could you name?
Yeah, for me, I've always been like, I don't know what I want to do. But little by little, like, I find the pieces, and right now I'm thinking about which master's program I want to apply, since from this bachelor's program we get multiple choices or like competencies to apply to many different master's programs. So I'm thinking about what I want to do for my master's, but I've been really inclined to doing something with biochemistry or drug development. So that's also probably something I want to work with in the future.
Thank you.
Yes, so if I'm talking about the near future, I think there's quite a lot of doubt and ways to go about it. But I have personally, I've set myself some sort of vision for the far future. Perhaps that's a bit different, but to kind of guide me along. So although I'm not even sure which study track I'd like to do at the moment, or the specific master, I would really like to work in theoretical physics, doing research in the future. So that's what I'm aiming towards, and I'll see as I go what is the best path to get there. And of course, I'm always open to change.
I think that is, thank you again. I think that's the essence of studying at a university, and especially if you are into science and research, you just need to have an open mind. So it's okay not to know in the beginning. Thanks again. Before we get to questions, I do encourage you to send questions to chat if you are willing to know more about the studies that Marcelo and Amanda are carrying out at the moment, or if you have some questions about admission process, then you could write your questions down on the Q&A section. But at the moment, I would like to know a bit more about this current situation. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic has been influencing all of us around the world, and your studies probably as well. So how would you comment on remote studies? Has it been okay for you, or have you had some challenges? Have you found a shoulder to lie on or to lean on while you have been in this new situation? So how would you comment on that?
Yeah, it's been, of course, a very different spring and now fall. But I think, like, study-wise, the transition from like contact teaching to distance learning went really smoothly at the university. So like, the lectures are fine on Zoom, and the teachers have been really good at adjusting to the situation. of course, since we study like sciences and mathematical subjects, we have a lot of like workshops when we work together on exercises, and the exercises are made so that you're supposed to discuss with your co-students and learn together. So that's, I guess, the biggest challenge, since normally we can just be on campus and work on exercises together. So we have exercise sessions on Zoom, but it's harder to work on those via Zoom. But otherwise, I think it's been really like easy to transition to distance learning. Of course, I miss the student life and seeing everyone in person, and yeah, it's making it a bit heavier, but it's been good.
Thank you.
And for me, I guess it has also been a right. I think that, as Amanda was saying, the actual um, the actual studies have been going quite smoothly. I think that a lot of that is down to the really well developed digital systems at the university. So I think that the distance teaching arrangements and uh, the online platforms like Moodle and everything really are really really good, and that has really helped with the remote learning. And I guess as a first year student, I I have started my studies a couple of months ago when I was thrown into the distance learning immediately. I guess as Amanda was saying, what you miss the most is the person-to-person interaction and the student life outside of studies. Though even that we have been able to do to some extent, we have had some events and some online events, and it has been nice, but perhaps not quite the same for sure. But I think study-wise, it has been going quite all right, and quite smoothly, I think.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your personal experiences. And of course, the situation is relatively stable in Finland, but of course, we are also all the time following the situation and getting, of course, the info sessions from the university as well. But it is something that we just need to constantly think about at the moment. Thank you for your comments on that. Do we have any questions on chat at the moment? Let's check. I can't see any, but do feel free to write down your questions if you have any. But I'm sure that there's living proof that we've had a really nice panel so far, and I'm not at all surprised if we don't have any questions, because you've covered the themes quite nicely. How about continuing and thinking a little bit about free time? You did touch upon it already a little, but a question which a lot of people probably will be thinking about when considering the future study place and the destination. Have you two been able to continue with a dear hobby that you've had before, or have you maybe picked up a new one with your new fellow students? And if this current situation has influenced it, or have you been able to innovate when it comes to pastime activities? So how would you comment on that?
Yeah, I have been able to continue my hobbies pretty normally despite the situation. So yeah, no big changes. Of course, I like to use the sports services. So there are like gym and group like exercise sessions provided at Unisport for discount for university students. So I've been using those services, and during the spring and summer, they were like a short time they were unavailable. So that was yeah, so that I had to pause that hobby, but now they're up and running again, so that's good.
Nice, thank you. How about Marcelo?
Yes, so something I have had some hobbies, and I have to say I'm a person that changes quite a bit. So I actually took the opportunity when coming here to um, to pick up something new as well. Um, I I managed to continue running, so that's something that I managed to do with no problems. And I actually there's something that I had done sometimes in the past, and it's something that I find I really appreciate is to have philosophical discussions. Um, and I actually managed to put together a group of people who are interested. But unfortunately, due to the coronavirus situation and the fact that there are quite a few, I was actually quite surprised by the number of people who are interested in participating in this. But because of that and because of the coronavirus restrictions on meetings, we are still having to postpone that to some extent. But something else that I actually managed to pick up was an adventure racing club, which at the moment, what our main activities are hiking. So we've had some hikes in Nuxio National Park, which is a national park quite close to Helsinki, surprisingly close to Helsinki, I have to say. Um, and we had one not a long time ago, quite recently, and that was quite nice, especially when uh, you're lacking interaction with people and you're spending most of your time indoors due to distance studying and social distancing. And I guess going outside and being outside and having those activities which you can do in smaller groups, being outside and everything has been really quite nice. So I hope that that will continue to go forward.
Wow, thank you both. It's quite a selection there. So Marcelo, especially mentioning the hiking and different activities. So you're quite right that we are surrounded by nature here. So even in a city like this, that is very promising and comforting that you have been able to continue with your hobbies and picking up new ones as well. We are shortly running towards the end of the webinar, but I do want to ask you, maybe Marcelo, you've come from a little further away. So would you want to comment on housing in Finland? How did you find the process of finding accommodation?
Yes. So at the moment, I am living in student housing, so a shared apartment with Boas, and I have to say I'm really quite satisfied. The student apartments are quite affordable, and it's I feel quite well to be living where I am, and it's actually also quite close to campus. And I think that the application process was as streamlined as it could be. And I was actually I was actually not expecting to be able to get an apartment or the best apartment because I was quite late with my application. But I still did manage, so I'm quite glad about that. Um, Top tips for applications for accommodation would be to apply as early as possible. That's for sure, and to prioritize properly. Know what you're looking for and prioritize it. But yes, really satisfied.
That's good to hear. Amanda, do you have any comments on that? Top tip would be what Marcelo said, apply well in advance or as early as possible. Any other comments from you?
Well, I don't know. I had a little bit different of a situation. Of course, I've been living near Helsinki pretty much all my life. I've lived abroad when I was a child, but the last year is near Helsinki. So in the beginning, I didn't have a hurry to find an apartment because it was like a 1 hour commute from where I live. So first I did that. But then I just happened to actually find an apartment through some people I knew, and then I just ended up here, living quite close to campus. I have a apartment here now, yeah, I would say the same tip, like if you know that you need accommodation, apply early, and check out like all the different options, because there is different options besides HOAS, and I think the university has listed there's a very good list on the website of different websites to check for apartments, and it's not just HOAS.
All right. Thank you very much for your top tips and comments on housing. It can be a bit of a headache for some, but I think it goes with the notion that you just need to also apply well in advance, or as soon as you know that you would be coming to Helsinki. Thank you so much, and I think that we are close to the closing remarks or your top tips, talking about application, not just housing, but the actual application process or finding your study place and maybe applying exactly to this program, Bachelor's in Science. What are your top tips for anyone who is considering applying at this stage?
Yeah, so my first tip would be to know how the application process goes. So check the website and read what is required for the application process, and make sure you have everything you need for it. But then also think about like what you want to study and what you really interests you. Do you have a specific study track in mind, or anything like what interests you? And then I would suggest that you go in and check what kind of courses is offered for the students, so you get a more exact feeling of what you will be studying, because sometimes the descriptions on university website are quite general, and you will learn this throughout and this, but you really get an idea of what you actually study if you look at what kind of courses you will have.
Oh, that's a very good idea. A more into-depth approach. And Marcelo, what would you recommend?
So absolutely, I agree with Amanda. She really nailed it. I think what I could add perhaps is that it's sometimes useful to kind of think ahead and then work your way backwards. So reflect on what you really would like to be doing in the future, and or the selection of things that you would like to be doing in the future, and work your way backwards. So try to think how do you get there, and see if the bachelor's program in science would be a good stepping stone towards that future. And I think that's the way I did it, and that's the way that work can work for some people as well. So I think that, and always be on top of your application process and ask questions. That's really important. You might regret not asking them perhaps in the future, but do ask questions and contact people. Don't be afraid.
Lovely tips. I couldn't agree more. So thank you so much. You really nailed it, I think, both of you. And for any viewers, please take advantage of these contact information addresses, whether it's an email address of the admissions or the degree finder on our website, or especially our student chat website address, because both Amanda and Marcelo can be found on our student chat, so you can reach out to them and ask more questions in particular even later on. So this is not the only chance at all, so they will be there for you even later on. But if we don't have any questions on chat either, I think we have covered quite a bit already. So I would like to thank you, our lovely panelists, and of course our admission officers or admission advisors, and Anne, my colleague, for making this webinar happen. But do you have, Amanda or Marcelo, do you have anything closing, a nice message to people who would like to either already apply or consider applying? Do you have anything you would like to add to this?
Well, I don't think I have anything special, but if you have any questions at all, it's like very easy to contact us via the Unibody chat. So just ask there anything if you have any concerns or the admission services regarding applications. So, but yeah, I don't think I have anything more special than that.
Thank you. What about Marcelo?
Well, I guess it's a closing remark. I could say be encouraged and have an open mind, and yes, and be confident. Don't be afraid, and go for it.
Thank you so much for both of you for your actual living, examples of how it is to study in the science, Bachelor in Science program. And I would like to, on my behalf, just to wish you all the best with your studies and your application process, and hope to see you in Helsinki later on. Take care and bye-bye.